Welcome to today's explainer. Look, if you manage infrastructure, you already know that exact feeling in the pit of your stomach when a major version release drops. It's stressful, right? Well, today we're going to transform a potentially nail-biting multi-node hypervisor upgrade into a highly predictable, successful, and wonderfully boring process. We're looking straight at the path from Proxmox 8.2 to 9.2 and figuring out how to navigate it without breaking a sweat. So let's just dive right in. We're starting with the exact question every cautious admin asks before hitting that go button. Can you just upgrade directly from 8.2.7 to 9.2? And, more importantly, should you? If you're looking at a 6-node cluster plus a Proxmox Backup Server and you're feeling a little nervous about that jump, let me validate that for you right now. That is absolutely the right kind of nervous. A single-node home lab upgrade, sure, that's one thing, but a multi-machine environment, that's an entirely different beast. To get us safely to the other side, here's our procedural map for today. We'll start with multi-node anxiety, then look at the staircase philosophy, lay out our strict upgrade checklist, master validation and troubleshooting, and finally cover preventing outages. It's a strict map, so let's get moving. All right, part 1, multi-node anxiety in the 6-server challenge. We really need to understand why this specific environment demands so much respect. See, a major version bump isn't just about clicking a button in the hypervisor and crossing your fingers. It touches Debian, the underlying Linux kernel, QEMU, specific machine types, basically all those quiet local configurations that have been humming along flawlessly for years. You've got VMs that have to be safely evacuated. The cluster's health absolutely has to remain intact. Your storage and networking configs, they need to keep behaving through the whole transition. And through all of this, your Proxmox Backup Server has to remain an absolute rock. Moving to part 2, the staircase philosophy, or why you should take the stairs. So how does the seasoned community actually answer this upgrade question? Well, the secret is you don't jump. There's a really stark contrast between a risky direct jump from an older point release, like 8.2.7, versus the practical consensus of this staircase approach. The community strongly advises treating your upgrade as a 2-step staircase. Step 1, you update to the absolute latest 8x release, say 8.4. Why do that? Because those intermediate versions contain crucial upgrade helpers, compatibility fixes, and specific repository behaviors that older releases just do not have. Jumping directly from 8.2.7 just adds a ton of mystery for zero reward. By going to the latest 8x first, you make the starting point boring, which drastically reduces your unknowns and limits your failure modes. And hey, the more boring the starting point, the less exciting the failure, right? Section 3, our upgrade checklist, which is our step-by-step guide. This is the absolute core of our strategy today for executing this safely. The crucial point to keep in mind here is the number 6. We are dealing with 6 nodes. Our overarching goal is to limit the blast radius of any potential issue. And we do that by keeping workloads alive and executing this checklist strictly one node at a time. Doing these rolling upgrades limits your risk. It gives you the chance to just hit the brakes if the first node misbehaves, rather than, marching an entire cluster off a cliff. Okay, here is your map. Look really closely at step 1, verify backups. And notice we didn't say check that the dashboard is green. We mean verified enough that you know exactly what you'd restore and exactly how you'd restore it if a node upgrade went totally sideways. Your Proxmox Backup Server is your ultimate safety net, and, crucially, you upgrade that backup server absolutely last. Okay, once backups are solid, step 2 is evacuating the node. Step 3, as we just talked about, is moving to the latest 8.x release. Step 4 is our validation phase. We'll dig into that in just a second. And finally, step 5 is the actual upgrade to 9.2, followed by rigorous testing before you even think about bringing workloads back to that node. Do not improvise here, guys. Clusters love to punish assumptions. Let's dive into section 4, validation and the troubleshooting loop. We're zooming in on step 4 of our checklist, because this right here is where the actual hard work of preventing disaster happens. Let's see how this builds our defense. We call this the validation loop. It's not just some one-off command you run and forget. It's a disciplined rhythm. You run the PV8 to 9 full checker, then you read the warnings. And I mean really read them. Don't just treat them as decorative text on your terminal. You fix exactly what the checker complains about. And then you run it again. You repeat this cycle until the machine is perfectly clean. You absolutely do not pass this step until the validation checker gives you the full all clear. As you're running that validation loop, you're specifically hunting for the weird configurations. Honestly, the best question you can ask yourself isn't, will this work, but what part of my setup is weird? PCIe pass-through? Yeah, that's weird. Ancient RAID controllers, out-of-tree drivers, custom networking setups? Weird, weird, weird. You also really need to pay close attention to very old VM machine types. The checker might warn you that some older VM models are no longer supported in Proxmox 9. And here's the kicker. Changing those machine types blindly can actually break software licensing inside your guest operating systems. That is exactly the kind of granular, hidden detail that turns a smooth host upgrade into a massive guest-level headache. And this brings us to a super crucial warning about what I like to call upgrade folklore. You're inevitably going to see admins online bragging that they upgraded their ancient 2010-era servers running old kernels without a single hitch. And hey, that is wonderful for them. But remember, their success is not a guarantee for yours. Just because someone succeeded on an old Dell R610 doesn't mean your specific HP firmware, your particular storage controller, or your exact IMMU behavior is going to survive the jump. It's permission to be optimistic, for sure, but it is definitely not permission to throw away your checklist.
Which brings us to Section 5, preventing outages and maintaining an operational mindset. Surviving a major version upgrade is ultimately all about how you approach it. There is this brilliant quote from a sysadmin who successfully upgraded 10 servers. They said, "I had no issues that weren't self-inflicted." Literally, that is the phrase you need to tape to the front of your server rack. The underlying software is rarely the actual problem in a modern hypervisor upgrade. Our own shortcuts, those are the problem.
The real enemies here are skipped warnings, ignored manuals, unhandled held packages. We're trying to do a massive system upgrade over SSH without having an out-of-band rescue path, like an ILO or iDRAC, ready to go. Listen, you don't need to be paranoid to succeed here. You just need to be disciplined. You just need to follow the map. So, I'm going to leave you with this final thought to reflect on. Is your next upgrade going to be a thrilling, edge-of-your-seat gamble, or is it going to be annoyingly planned? Because in the world of infrastructure, an annoyingly planned, boring, repetitive upgrade is the ultimate victory. It means you respected the process, you verified your backups, you relied on that validation loop, and you kept the lights on. So, are you ready to follow the map? Thanks for joining me for this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.